Okay, let's just see if we could do it this way, right? So, because you said the recordings are going nuts ever since I quit my job. So we'll start back there, right? So I quit the job. I'm guessing the recordings are showing up out of order or something. But I quit the job, right? I After I quit the job, Mistress introduces me to Ashley because she sees the things that I want to do, realizes that they're kind of dangerous too, tries to talk me out of some of it. I'm not going to be talked out. So she sends Ashley to basically be like my babysitter. She's like, yeah, I said you can have access to shit, but I'm still gonna have you watched. I'm like, all right, whatever, fuck it, cool. Ashley slowly but surely helps me in certain things, points me in certain directions. She's even like hinted certain things, like, don't worry, I'm doing things over here to help you too, like things I'm not telling you, but I'm helping you. I'm like, all right, cool, I'll take it. Right. So she shows me certain things in Gaelic, certain books that I'm gonna need that she knows I'm gonna need because she's already been down some of this path. So she actually was a decent help. She introduced me to some of the librarians and stuff, so they would be more helpful. She actually she paved the way with certain things, which was nice, right? Bottom line is, I want to say a month. When was this? No, it was like 4 months. I gotta sit down and think about all this again. It was like 4 months. It was probably April-ish, maybe even May. Actually, it might have been June by that point. Shit, it was actually further into the year than I always remember it being like February, but no, this shit was like June. I have everything figured out as far as what I need to do. The ritual that we need to do. Serafina and I are gonna perform it. Kundalini work, forest connection work, ancestral connection work, solar anchoring, all sorts of different magical and spiritual techniques being done simultaneously, set up over a 3 day process. Also during a certain time, like I think it was Juneteenth, summer solstice, there was that whole George Floyd shit, so there was a lot of violent energy in the air. People were rebelling, other people were being brainwashed, other people were being unbrainwashed. But the whole shit that was going, that's a chaos storm. No matter what people think of it politically or whatever, it's a chaos storm. I feed on the chaos. So we used all this shit so we could do our ritual. We're in the woods. The same way you said, sitting on the chair, like she sits on me. I'm sitting, doing my best to sit Indian style, which is lingam yogi something something style. I forget the words. It's Hindu shit. Kundalini, tantric, Kama Sutra shit. Um, I'm sitting that way. She's sitting on top of me. I'm inside of her. So my dick is straight up like a Tekken, like a uh, obelisk, and she is the portal. She's anchoring. We have an egregor pulley. These are lots of magical terms. I'm not sure if you know them yet, but we do the ritual, right? Long story short, we do the sex ritual, um, and you're not supposed to orgasm in this particular ritual. You ingasm. It's like you're literally. I don't even know how to explain. Like it took me many times of doing this to come without coming, because you have to come without coming, and it's one of the hardest things that I've ever done. Like people ask, like, what's the hardest shit you ever learned? How to come without coming, like how to come inside myself. Like instead of coming out, I come in and up, and I've in my entire life done this like maybe 9 times, and I've tried maybe 50, 60. So, like me and Serafina have done that many times, trying to for astral reasons, and man, it's not very easy. But long story short, we end up in the Duat, which is the Kemetic judgment realm, pretty much. Anubis, all of them are there. All the good gods. I'm thinking that we gonna be cool. Like these are my peoples. I've been preaching them, studying them, researching them. Getting into my African roots and all that good stuff, right? Anubis doesn't even speak words. This man just sicks the dogs on us, like sicks the hounds on us. The goddesses, to their credit, looked shocked and appalled that he would do such a thing. But the gods were like, yeah, nah. Like, fuck them niggas doing here. And, I remember one of them saying, was it Osiris? I can't remember which one said it. One of them said, because when I was talking to them, I was talking to them like I was a friend. And they're like, he doesn't know who he is. He doesn't remember yet. Get him before he does. And I was like, what? What? Oh, shit. So I'm running away from this fucking dog. She's running away in front of me. I'm behind her because I'm trying to stay between her and the dog. The egregor steps in front of me to like defend us from the dog, so we can use Seraphina's anchor to like wake ourselves up and get the fuck out of this reality. Um, but it's not working. We're too frantic. The dogs run right through my fucking egregor. That nigga was not ready to defend us at all. I did not make something powerful enough at all. Dog gets me on my left leg, and as soon as it gets me, purple lightning strikes next to me. Silent lightning, no sound. Out of the lightning comes a feminine figure who speaks like a language I to this day don't speak, don't understand, can't remember. Maybe in the astral I do, and I just don't remember when I'm here. But I could not tell you right now if that was any type of language that is spoken anywhere on Earth. Probably not. The dog sits immediately, like a good boy. She pats him on his head and sends him back. She looks back to Anubis. Anubis looks at her. They both, like, head nod, like, respectfully. Not like we're best friends, but more like, all right, that's, like, you got it. Like, almost like he's looking at her like, what, those yours? All right, we'll keep them on my shit. You know what I'm saying? And then she's like, I got you. You know? Like two bosses from different areas who ain't trying to have problems with each other, but don't exactly see eye to eye either. But in that moment, they're like, all right, we're just going to go our separate ways, right? She called me Samael. She called her Lilium. She called her daughter. She told her to stick with me, that I would show her the path she's supposed to be on. And she said a bunch of other stuff. And I know I wrote it all down. I'll send it to you. Matter of fact, I will. I'll send it to you. Because I wrote a lot of this stuff down when it happened. I had a whole journal of this shit that I have lost. Like a digital journal that was on another phone that died and I can't turn back on. Like, so I got hundreds of pages in there of shit from that 1 year alone. It's crazy. I'll send you that because I know I have that on this phone. So I'll send you that day. But to end the experience, the last thing I can actually remember, one of the most intense things I've ever been through, if not the most intense thing I've ever been through. She pulls us in with her arms. She's got like 16 fucking arms all of a sudden, like out of nowhere. They just fucking sprout. Her wings grow like larger and she wraps them around us. Mind you, she had horns, wings, tail. Her skin is like a reddish kind of purplish color. Her eyes were pitch black, like not like the eye, like her whole eyeball, just black, right? She's terrifying yet fucking hot as fuck. And I am just so drawn in. Oh, let me say that again, because that might have got fucked up with the recordings. I have never felt so pulled in every way in my life. Like, physically, mentally, spiritually, emotionally, consciously, subconsciously, unconsciously, astrally, soulfully. My penis literally raised in her direction. I'm not even joking. Like, and I'm in the astral, so I don't necessarily have a real penis in the astral, but, you know, the residual, you know, image, the RSI, as they like to call it, the residual self-image, is of me in a masculine male form, so I have a penis. It's even bigger in the astral, of course. Gotta love that subconscious fucking... Everyone in the astral has a 10-inch cock, but it's straight raised in her direction. Like, I can't even explain it. Like, I was drawn to her physically in every way. I just wanted her to touch me. And not necessarily sexually. Just put your hands on me anywhere. Like, that is how drawn in I was to her. And then I could barely look over to Seraphina because I'm looking at her like, bitch, get us out of here. Like, you're the anchor. Like, and she's in the same trance I'm in. You know what I'm saying? Looking at this goddess. And when she pulls us in, she told us something that we'll understand in the future. I can't remember the exact words she used, but almost like you'll understand. Like now that you know me, you'll know that you've always known me. You'll understand. You'll know who I am. Like, you know, don't be afraid. You know. She pulls us in. She grabs her by her pussy. She grabs me by my dick. We both start orgasming. She steps with two other hands. She sticks her thumb in my forehead and sticks her thumb in Seraphina's forehead. And we start coming from our foreheads. Like, I've never... I don't have a vagina. So I don't know what it's like when somebody presses into your vaginal G-spot and it makes you squirt. But this would be my equivalent. I was forehead squirting. Like, my third eye was squirting. I've never felt pleasure like this. Ever. To this day, I still don't think... I mean, in the astral a few more times, but this was just so crazy. It was like being a virgin to something all over again, too, you know? Because I've never had this before. So, we wake up, in the forest, and we are just skeeting. Now, mind you, in the ritual, I'm not supposed to come, so I didn't come in her. I ingasmed to open up third eye, pineal gland, all this good stuff, right? Doing the Kundalini work. But when we come to, bro, I'm like overflowing her with like, I'm coming more than I've ever come in my life. I've never felt so physically weak. Like my legs are trembling. Like I could barely walk myself. She could not walk. The orgasms she was having were full body, and there was just whole seizures. I thought she was like breaking. Like I've never seen a girl convulse like this. You know, like spine off the ground convulsions. Like not like like it sounds like it hurts. Like she's making noises that don't sound pleasant, but it's because it's, in her words, it's like the orgasm is forcing itself out so hard she can't breathe. She couldn't think. All she could do was go. I'm like, yo, sounded like a dude. Like, like I'm not even like I've never heard her make that sound. Like I'm like, damn. Now I know how hard you can really. I've never got you to that level. Like, holy shit. Like, she couldn't do anything, right? So I go over to where our stuff is. I get my phone. I text. Was it Brittany? Yeah, I text Brittany, and I called Brittany. Tell her where we are, and tell her to bring a dude we just met, a guy named Marcus. So shout out to Mark Andy Natalis because they got the same name. This Hawaiian brother. I like this guy. He's funny. He was a virgin. He was a good guy. He was a really good guy. He got played by some girl. Like I really felt bad for him in life, but it turns out better for him later. But he comes with Brittany to get us because when I say Serafina can't walk, I mean she literally can't. Dude, she's just coming. Like every like fucking few minutes, she's just like spasming. Like she tried to stand up and fell down. I was barely I'm like wobbling. Like I feel like a duckling, a newborn deer trying to get out of the woods. You know what I'm saying? So I have him come get her. He's carrying her. She's wrapped in a fucking blanket that he brought. But she is soaking through the blood. She's leaking all over this man. He just met us yesterday. And he has whatever was inside of her from me leaking onto him and her leaking onto him. And like this poor guy. He was young too. He was what, 21, something like this. And a virgin. So, you know, he's never like, he's carrying this naked girl who's just coming on. He's just like he's like freaking out. So he brings her to this to the jacuzzi, to the hot tub. And then he goes, and now mind you, this shit's like contagious because as he's carrying her over there, he's like getting like these weird hot flashes. Like, and every time she comes, he feels almost like he's building up to come. Like he doesn't come, but he feels like oh, like wow, like it's just like transferring, right? So then as soon as he steps, because he walked into the hot tub with her and places her down gently, when his penis area hit the hot tub, he started to bust a nut. And it was like the hardest nut he had ever busted because he had only jerked off in life. He had been jerked off. Like he had some girls do some things with him, but he had never had sex. So he had never come this hard. Like it was like he was like, this nigga sat down for a second. He's like, okay, I'm going to the ocean. He goes and he sat in the ocean for like 3 fucking hours, just nutting on himself, like, but gently, like not like we were. Like I could, man, every fucking like 10 minutes, my brain was exploding. It was just turning off, just spots everywhere, just like fireworks in my eyes. I couldn't so I could only imagine what Serafina was going through. Brittany tried to hold her hand. And when she tried to hold her hand, that's what happened. She's able to walk again. She gets out of the hot tub at some point, and she goes inside and she gets in the bed. Brittany goes to lay down with her and hold her hand, and when Serafina starts to have one of these crazy full body orgasms, they're taking longer to happen now. Like instead of every fucking 5 minutes, it's like every half hour. And when one comes on, Brittany holding her hand, Brittany starts to go into an orgasmic fit herself to the point where she like her eyes like damn near rolled back of her head, and she had to let go of her hands. Like, holy shit. She's like, that's what the fuck you're going through every fucking... She's like, oh my God. Like, it was the craziest shit she had ever felt. And I'm like, yeah, it's insane, right? Tiki called Ashley. Ashley said she was on her way with the mistress because she realized that I'm going to do this no matter what. Like, I'm going to do this, so they might as well help me. So mistress has officially given Ashley permission to help me. Ashley says, she's got some things to show me and go over and to tell me. And I told her about the goddess. She goes, yeah, you're gonna know a lot more about her. She's like, she is going to be like basically a secret weapon for us, because that is our best ally on that side of things. And I'm like, okay, all right. I'm really appreciating this girl even more now, because I'm like, finally, someone's just telling, like, I don't have to search for this. Somebody's telling me something like that I don't have to find on my own. And long story short, it takes them a little while to get there because they were in Connecticut or something. But when they get there, she tells me all about Lilith, why she called me Samael, this, that, and the other thing, more about soul shards and how reincarnation really works and all this stuff about the realms and astral processes. Like, it was a few hours of conversation, so I'm trying to boil that down. But she like fully opened up and brings me into Lilith, and she introduces me to Lilith, and she takes me to a Lilithian altar, and I start doing certain things, put the period blood on my forehead, all sorts of stuff, like just to be really brought into that and fully introduced. Like, and then we start setting up the ritual to do it properly next time. Like, she's like, okay, we're going to go to these places, we're going to do these things. First place you're going is to Gamaliel. You got to go through the tunnels of Set. You got to go through the Qliphoth. Like, when she starts teaching me things, I had to go through Nehemoth with Nama to get introduced to the team, basically. The rebel team on the other side. Like, when Marcus talks about the team, I don't know if you caught that in our last live stream together, where Marcus says they got to go meet the team, because Marcus has met the team. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, if you ever have a conversation with Marcus, ask him about the team. He'll tell you. That's why I go, for me, it's not about, I don't try to bring people into things. I try to let them bring them. Like, this is why I tell you about Lilith and I talk to you about Lilith, but I don't try to steer your thought process on her too much. I want you to have your own interactions and your own connection, etc. So that way, when you get asked about the team later, it's not something I told you. It's something you came to with your own processes. You know what I'm saying? So, Ashley introduces me to the team, basically. And this is where me and Ashley become Bonnie and Clyde. Like, we become mommy and daddy in this relationship, too, because she comes into our relationship. Now, Ashley is hilarious, and Ashley is the freak of freaks. She's a lot like Silver, you know what I'm saying? Very mothering, but not soft. Also very dominant, but not in a mean way. In a very, what's the word? Like, she has a lot of that. When I was 12 years old and I was dealing with those witches, and they had like a viciousness about them, how they would do it. She had that in her too. Like, for her, making you come was a magical process. It was like an energetic. She's a succubus. She feeds on the shit. She loves it. Like, you know, it's like it's everything to her. So once she does that and teaches me all this stuff over, like, I want to say the next day or two, because we're setting up for another ritual. What was the next ritual? Gamaliel, Nama. Yeah, I went over that. I just told you that. In order to get introduced to the team. After all that's said and done, and I'm officially like in the group, in the team, and we've been introduced, I go to Ashley's house for the first time to pick her up so we can go to the Covenant. She lives in Cranston, Rhode Island, or lived in Cranston, Rhode Island. When I got to her house, this is when I found out sex priestess really meant what it said. She was a sex priestess. I get in her house, and she's got TVs in almost every room, and they're all playing porn, mostly hentai. Now, it turns out, because her and I had a conversation, because again, when we talked about Lilith is very sexually heavy and all this other stuff. We went over the ritual that me and Serafina did and the sexual positioning, all this other stuff. Ashley and I were smoking and drinking one night, and she just started talking to me. I think we were on shrooms too, and she just started talking to me about sex, like what do I like, these things. Like, now I was flirty because she's a sexy thing too. Like, and I love females like this. Like, I really like girls I can just talk to. Like like I can just really just conversate with, and it's not. There's no weird shit. Like, there's no ulterior motives. Even if things develop in an ulterior direction, there's no motives to the conversation itself, except for, man, I really like talking to you. So, like, that's how I felt with Ashley. Like, I just love talking to her because she always had something to say back. She could teach me things. You know, like, and she really was like a female version of me. Like, we liked a lot of the same things. We're so similar. It's crazy, to be honest. I always said it. She is the white girl version of me, and I'm the black man version of her. Like, you know, I said, if I was born a Scottish white girl, I'd be you, Ashley. I'd be you. So we had a whole talk one night about all these things that I like and my history, and I told her about the witches. Like, I opened up to her everything. I told her everything from the day I was born to the day that I died. We spent like hours and hours and hours just in a room talking, smoking, drinking, eating mushrooms, you know, so we were there all day. Like, yeah, we were there like all day. That was a fun day, just talking. Serafina was there, in and out with Brittany. Tiki came in and sat there for a while, silent for like 2 hours, but just listened and just enjoyed our presence. Mistress popped in and out, but me and her just stayed in that room, chilling the whole day, talking. So by the time I got to her house, and when I say observant and listens, this girl, everything she asked me was for a purpose. Like, she had already made the decision that now that she's part of our group, she's going to steer it. Like, she's going to be mommy, basically, of the group. So she was seeing who I am, what I am, how to control me, how to steer me. And not in a negative fashion, but, like, she really looks at group dynamics. I can't even explain. Like, she's like, all right, so this group, like, this person has these attributes, she has these attributes, you have these attributes, he has... And she literally started putting together a roster outside of just the people we had to bring into our group that would fit well as this puzzle to, you know, figure out what we're trying to do and get there, right? So she asked me mad questions about myself. Now, mind you, when I get to her house, again, all this TV's playing porn, mostly hentai. And the reason she chose hentai is not because I said, like, I like hentai, because I didn't say that. She listened to the things I liked. She listened to the positions I liked. She listened to, again, some girls are really good at this, and it's such an easy thing to do to me. It's so unfair. It really is. Thigh highs. I don't know. I do know. I always say that. I don't know why, but I know exactly why. Like, I know 12 years old. I know exactly why I like them as much as I did. But if a girl wears thigh highs, she's automatically 2 levels, physical attractiveness, 2 levels up. It doesn't matter what she looks. I don't care if she's a 1, a 3, a 5, a 7, a 9. You know what I'm saying? If you're a 9, you're now an 11. If you're a 7, you're now a 9. You don't have to do anything else. Like, just put on a pair of thigh highs. Let alone if you add a choker necklace, some fingerless, like the arm sleeves that go all the way down to the hands, but they don't have the fingers or the thumb, so it's just like stretched over the palm. Because this is how they dressed and how they, like, man, I was brainwashed into it. So she found lots of porn. This bitch spent hours finding porn that I would like. And it was all girls in thigh highs. And a lot of it turned out to be hentai because apparently, you know, in the anime world, there's thigh highs everywhere. So I had seen hentai before, but I wasn't a big on jerking off. I wasn't big on watching porn. And it wasn't like I didn't. It was just, I wasn't a connoisseur in the shit, you know? So this girl is a connoisseur. She knows how to search things, so you can get the exact perfect, like, man, she's crazy, bro. You tell her what you like and she'll find a video that's like, wow, if I don't have sex like this every time, I don't know what sex is anymore. Like, she tries to make everything so intense, right? So I walk in, all this porn's on the TVs everywhere. She's, of course, wearing thigh highs and all, like, oh my God. Whew. See, that's how easy it is. I hate that about me. That's how I'm just thinking about it. I'm like, oh my God, I'm at your mercy. She is the type who's like, I don't even think straightforward's the right way to say it. She's damn near rapey. So she comes over to me. She's instantly seducing me, talking to me the way I like to be talked to. And I didn't expect this. And I came here to pick her up and drive to the Covenant. She just told me to come inside. You know what I'm saying? Like, so this girl, she starts talking to me about things that I told her. And basically telling me how well she listened. And she said, there's one thing that I know you like that you're embarrassed about. She's like, but I want to take the embarrassment. She's like, I don't want you to be ashamed of anything you like. So what did she do? I'm wearing basketball shorts. She pulls down my shorts. She brings me to the counter. I lean on the counter and she milks me. And I mean like a cow udder. Like, you know how you milk a cow? So the last person who did that to me was my baby mama. She discovered I liked that one day and just never let it go. Oh man, never let it go. Silver really didn't do that. But then prior to that was Tracy. I learned that from Tracy mostly. But then Jessica, the twins, when I was 12 years old. They used to milk me all the time. They even called it bull milking. Like, I was their bull. You know what I'm saying? Their baby bull. My baby bull. But, so she just literally just seduced me right there. Milks ever living fuck out of me. Like, high speed, high power. Like, all in my ear, whispering sweet nothings, telling me to come, all this other stuff, right? So I skied all over the floor. And I'm just like, what the fuck just happened? Like, I walk in and like less than 2 minutes later, I'm leaned over her like island, like the center island in the kitchen, and she's milking me like a cow, right? So, but at that moment, I'm just like, oh man, this girl's gonna be dangerous to me. Like, you know what I'm saying? And she's so good at reading people, so psychological with it, including sexually. And she's the one who taught me the terms aftercare. Like, I knew what that was because I'd studied sex and all this stuff before, but it had never clicked as a phrase, as a terminology, you know, until she fucking said, because she cleaned everything up and she said in her own words, the reason why I wanted to do that is because I want to show you, like you said, and this is also why I like how you said the word safe. She goes, you're safe with me. She's like, I want you in your deepest bag. She's like, I want you just to be feeling you. Like, she's like, I don't want you embarrassed about anything, ashamed of it. Like, I want you to be the fullest you with me. She's like, I just saw your whole asshole. Like, she's like, I just made you skeet. I made you make a sound that I bet you not, you know, not many men like to make because it's embarrassing. Like, you know, like, I want you fully with me. She's like, if this is what we're doing, this is what we're doing. And I was like, and I didn't even know how to feel in that moment because of Kamaya. See, I always do this. Because of Serafina. But at the same time, like, Serafina's fucking with Brittany. You know, like, Serafina's a pansexual. Serafina's a try-anything sexual. We're technically not together. You know, so like, I'm like, all right. Well, let's see. I'm like, because I got to go be honest with Serafina that this just happened, just because it did, you know? I'm that nice of a guy. Like, so, we ended up going to the Covenant. No, we went to Serafina's. Because we went to pick her up, and then we were going over to Serafina's, where Brittany had moved in, because they're now roommates at this point, and they're both veterinary assistants. She got her a job with her. Like, when I say they're the same person, I mean they're the same person. They're the same age. They're born in the same month. They're like 3 days apart. Same personality. Both veterinary assistant. Both in accelerated veterinary programs since they were like 17. Like, while they were still in high school, they were in veterinary programs, so they could be like full veterinary assistants. I think by the time they were like 20, and then by now they should be veterinarians. Over in Africa, they're in what's that little country? Botswana. From South Africa to Botswana, back and forth. But where was I going with that? Oh, we go over to Serafina's, and Ashley is such a dom. She's such a mommy too. So when we get there, you know, Serafina and Brittany, they haven't seen me in a few days because I had to take a few days. I was at home and then I went to get Ashley and then there. So this is the first time I'm seeing them in like 3 days. I've talked to them every day, but I haven't seen them. So, you know, they literally like run over like children. Like, when I say clingy, like, these are like my little girls. Like, I remember sending my boy a picture one day because I had all these girls, and he's like, "Yo, that must be like the craziest shit." And I sent him a picture, my boy Mike, of like a dude laying in bed with two girls, like two sexy females, like a threesome was about to happen. And I go, "This is what people think it's always like." And then I sent him another picture and it said, "This is what it's really like." And it's like a dude with his two daughters and like an iPad. And he's like reading to them with the iPad, and they're just like, "What?" I'm like, these two are like my kids half the damn time. You know, because they're both 19. Like they're not. I'm 30. Like I'm a grown ass man. Sometimes I gotta be like, all right, y'all are acting your age. Like, and sometimes I feel bad, almost like, damn, these girls they have teen in their age. Like I don't know if I should be doing this, but they were different. And then Ashley, 22, TQ was 24. But Ashley was a grown fucking woman. Ashley was more mature than I am mentally, probably still right now. So when we get there, Ashley's the one who starts talking to Serafina and says, "You want to know what I just did to him?" Now, Serafina is, again, a freak. Try anything. She's like, "What'd you do?" Like, and I'm like, okay, she's handling that wonderfully. And she tells her, and she goes, "He likes that?" She's like, "He loves it. You want to do it?" And she's like, "Yes." So she's like, "All right." They come over to me, and I'm just like, they're talking about me and my dick. Like, I'm not standing here. They come over, and fucking Ashley's like, "You know what it is." Like pulls my shorts down again. I'm just like, I don't even get a say in this. Like, and together they milk me. They call Brittany over. Mind you, Tiki's there. And she sits there and watches, and you could tell she kind of wants to do it. But Tiki has a boyfriend who's a weirdo and a normal, mundane muggle that we told her to break up with from day one. So she doesn't join, but she's in the fucking room. Like, just watching me get milked by these three girls. Like, and that is how their bond began. And that is when I realized, oh, my penis is not mine, it's theirs. Okay. Which is fine with me, honestly. Like, I prefer, like, if I gotta initiate shit every time, if I gotta, like, when a girl, in my opinion at least, when a woman really wants you, when she wants to please you, she'll just please you. When she wants you, she'll just come to you. She'll bare minimum present herself to you. If not, just come take it. Come sit on your lap. Come do whatever. And I love that. I don't want you to ask. I don't want you, just come. Like to me, that's why, like, I remember when you said homeboy sitting in the gamer chair and you went over and you were naked and you sat and he was like, "I'm busy." I'm like, "Nigga, what?" Like, you could, like, first and foremost, if that game's that important, keep playing, nigga. That isn't... But that doesn't mean you neglect what's in front of you. Like, no, put that in you. Yeah. Sit, yeah, oh, yeah, just like, oh, come here. I'm gonna fail this game. Like, I'm about to die over and over again, but I'm gonna try. Oh my God. Yeah, ride that. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm that type of person. Like, that shit to me is just like a girl who just comes over to you and just, I don't know. Again, I always say that. I don't know why. Yes, you do. You were programmed at 12 years old to love that shit. Like, my dick was never my own to begin with, I guess. Right? So, them doing that solidified that, all right, I belong to them, I guess. Like, you know what I'm saying? And afterward, again, Ashley explained the same thing. And Ashley said things to Serafina. Serafina had always had me on this, like, pedestal, like this God complex, like, because I am God, but she always looked at me that way. Ashley humanized me. After this, Ashley sat us down, and Ashley was, like, rubbing my head and holding her, and, like, she had us all, like, cuddled in the couch, and she says, "Now, the reason I do this, to build a bond," like, we had, like, an hour-long conversation about why she milked my dick. Like, she's, like, talks about building bonds, and, how when you associate pleasure with a person, their presence is more pleasurable, this, that, and the other thing. She goes, and also, she goes, "Daddy here," talking about me, she's like, "is a sensitive man. He doesn't, because with Serafina, I tried not to act like, I was hurt from my baby mama, so I was not as vulnerable with Serafina. There's a lot of things I didn't say to Serafina. Certain things that I liked sexually that I did, but beyond that, I didn't tell her why. I didn't tell her about being 12. And she asked, "Can we talk about that as a group?" And I was like, okay. So then I told the whole story, and Ashley basically put it as like, the reason why I had us do that to him right here, right now, like that, is because I want him to know even if that's kind of a weakness for him, because it is, and I openly admit that. It's the only way I hate it. I fucking hate it. But if a girl just looks good enough, like, you don't got to be fine. You just have to be attractive to me. Bare minimum attractive. And you start adding those things on, let alone if you add to the attract, like if you do wear the thigh highs, if you put on the sleeves, if you wear the choker, if you start trying to adjust like the look to match, let alone having that kind of like demeanor and personality and sexual behavior where it's like, when I want your cum, I'm gonna take it. When I want your dick, I'm gonna take it. When I'm horny, I'm coming to you. I'm not waiting for, like, that shit just turns me on to no end. So she's telling them how to love me while also how to make me feel safe. And I'm like, I'm this grown ass 30-year-old nigga, this 6-foot black man, 200 pounds. I got muscles and shit. Like, you know what I'm saying? Hard nigga, Southside Chicago, been shot, been stabbed, fucking driller, like gang member. You know, like, I've had that life. You know, and I've just felt like the most safest little boy on that couch with them, to the point where they were like, oh my God, like I never felt so genuinely cared for in my life. Like, the last time I really felt that way was with Silver and Kamaya. I had some other girls along the path. I had, you know, even with my baby mama, we broke up a few times, but I never felt that type of, I guess safety is the best word, like emotionally safe, where I could really just give in fully in every way and not have to be like this hard masculine character to not get played and da-da-da. And, you know, it's like, where I could just kind of just be me, you know, where if I wanted to smile, I could smile. If I wanted to tell someone I love them, I could tell them I love them and not have to worry, well, if I tell her that, is she going to fucking use, like, where I could tell someone something I want them to do sexually, and I don't have to worry about her manipulating me through that, so she could do that thing and then go do something else, and then I'll let her get away with it because, you know, it's like, I didn't have to think about any of that shit. I didn't have to think about any games. There was no strategy. There was no riz. There was no, like, none of that bullshit. There was no bullshit. There was no games. That's the best way I could put it. There was no games. It was just people bonding and being open and serious with each other, and just, like, man, like, you know, so like Ashley really had us in that moment. Like, we became a family. I'm not even gonna joke. I was daddy, she was mommy. Those were our daughters, but a weird incestual family, I guess. A porn family that you'd see in, like, on a porn show or something. But I felt so fucking whole with them. Like, I could finally, it was like all of me was finally out. You know, there was no mask. I wasn't hiding behind anything. I wasn't hiding my occult practices, my satanic like leanings, you know, like my anti-cosmic, anti-God, anti-Christian, I didn't have to hide none of that. You know, so I could say fuck the universe. I could also tell them whatever I want. Like, it just felt like home. Like, being in that little group felt like I finally had found a place where I could just truly be. You know what I'm saying? So that was how I met Ashley, and that's how Ashley became part of our circle. And then from that day forward, we just had this year-long experience together that was, every day was packed. I mean, almost every week I was awake for 3 days at a time at some point, because we were just doing so much shit. Reading, learning, watching, listening, peeping the mythos. We watched so much shit. I remember we spent 1 week, it was like, what, like 3 days straight, just watching the entire Marvel anthology as like a curriculum for peeping the mythos. And me and my boy Jerome, J-Rock, all these young people. J-Rock and his girl Genevieve were both 16-year-old geniuses. And I mean geniuses. Like, his official IQ is like 185 or some shit like that. Hers is like 160. So she's a genius. He's a high genius. Now, Ashley put them on the list. Ashley's also the one who originally introduced us to Marcus before I even knew she had a list. You know, so like, she introduced us to Marcus the day before Serafina and I did our first doo-wop ritual, because she saw it coming. Like, the girl is so, that's the other thing I love about her. She's so cerebral. Like, she did a whole bunch of things without me noticing until after she did them. And I go, oh, I see what you did there. Oh, I see what you did there. Oh, I see how you introduced that. Oh, I see how you brought that in. She brought Jerome and his girl Genevieve in too. And Jerome was like a 16-year-old version of me, but purely cerebral. He's not like violent. He ain't got the warrior type energy that much. He reminds me a lot of Mark Antinatalist. He's like him, but younger and rich as fuck. His family's rich. They're worth like $60 million. They have a whole fucking villa in either Senegal or Gambia. I think it was Gambia, actually. That's where he is now. But me and this kid, this 16-year-old, and mind you, he is a 16-year-old shaman. This nigga he does more drugs by noon than I have done as in my entire adult life. Like, this kid is not an average 16-year-old. And that was the thing about these young people, where I'm like, man, these motherfuckers are advanced. Like, super. So this 16-year-old genius, he and I stayed up for 3 straight days watching the Marvel anthology because they kept falling asleep. We watched every single thing in a row, and we even rewound to where they were when they would all be awake at the same time. But that's the type of shit that we also did together. It was like, it wouldn't just always be like some hardcore magic shit. It'd be like, it's movie night, you know, or movie week. Like, but for us, again, that was also a magical process. We're peeping the mythos. That was a spiritual thing. It's not just sitting there being entertained. We're finding every one of us in every one of these things and how we can relate it to this reality, and if we can step into that reality in the astral and collect characters from fictional realities that have been neglected, you know, Killmongers, people who were right but are considered the villain, can we go get them and bring them, Carly Morgenthau? You know, so we had a whole, like, man. But yeah, long story short, that's how I met Ashley. And we ended up spending a whole year together. And then she was one of the people who, because, you know, I'm always preaching warfare. She's the only person I've ever met face to face who was like, we can go die right now. And I couldn't do it. I legit loved her so much. I loved all of them, but I needed her. It was selfish of me. It was pure selfishness where I'm like, I can't do that with you. I could not see her get shot and be like, Urgh. Like, you know, it's like if I go with one of my boys and he gets drilled, hoorah! Like, it's like Spartan shit. Like, yeah, he died a good death. I could not watch anything bad happen to her. I could never. I just couldn't. There's certain people I could do it. Like, I don't know why. Me and her were so alike. I'm like, you're too fucking rare. You're the only being on this planet who has understood me in a 100.0% manner in the way you do, and has not taken advantage of it or tried to play me at all. At all. And she could control me. She really could. Like, there was a time, I remember Serafina was scared, something about COVID or something, and like her fear just jumped out of her, and it bothered me for some reason, because we're occultists, man. We ain't worried about this shit. And I got a little bit too loud with her. I got a little too angry. I did overreact a little bit, but I was also in a certain type of way that day. And Ashley walks in the room, and I'm standing in front of the couch, and mind you, Ashley is almost as tall as me. She's taller than the other girls. She's like 5'9"-ish, you know what I'm saying? She's got these long legs. And she like lifted her fucking foot to my chest. Gently, she didn't like kick me, but put it on my chest and pushed me onto the couch. And then put her leg and straddled me, stood above me, like so her pussy's like right in my face, and then squatted down and sat on me with her face right in my face. And was like, why are you so angry today, Daddy? Do you think she really deserved that? And I'm just like, but she takes me right out of it. I'm like mad, and then her foot hits my chest. I'm like, what's going on? No, oh, I sit on the, now she's just right in my face. Hands on either side of my face, like holding my face with both hands. And she's like, why are you so mad? Like, and I'm just like, and now I can't be. I literally cannot be. Like, this is the type of shit, like, if you really understand me as a female and I really like you, like, there's certain ways that you can just control me. And it's not some like, and it's not a dominating it's a feminine fashion. Like, I am here mostly to protect and destroy things for the feminine. You know what I'm saying? Like, so when it does that, it's like, I can't help but respond. Like, and I told her, I was just straight honest. I forget what it was, but there was something bothering me, and then fear. And then I had to tell her, you know, I had a fear of losing that. Like, there was some fear shit going on that day. I can't remember exactly what it was, but I explained it to her. And then she brought Serafina over, and she literally made us have sex. Like, but like the same way. And again, this is why when you said that chair shit, it brought chills to my mind. We weren't in a chair, we're on the couch. But she made her wrap her legs around me. She sat, and we're face to face, and we're skin to skin. And she was talking to us like almost like sex therapy at the same time. You know what I'm saying? Like, and I don't know. It was just, it's so bondy. I can't explain. It was just so, man. It's so, the connection. You know what I'm saying? Like the connection is just crazy. And when she had us do like, yeah, I wasn't really that mad at Serafina. I was almost scared for her. Like I didn't want her to lose her own thought processes. Like I don't like when people play people I love. So my mom watches MSNBC and CNN all day, right? I don't give a fuck what those people have to say. I don't care about the lies that they're spreading or anything. I don't care what Fox News is. I don't care what any of those news agencies have to say, right? But when I see my mom go, "Yup," it pisses me off because I just watched her swallow a program, and it plugged right in. These people are lying to my mother. Like, dude, like I really am that guy. Like, if this was another time or another place, I'd kill so many people. It's crazy. Because I do not like the evil. I do not like the psychopaths running shit. I do not like them lying to people I love. I do not like people that I think should not be fucked with like that. People that I think deserve to be treated well, being treated anything other than well. I don't give a fuck what happens to Bill Gates. He can get stampeded tomorrow. They could carve him up. I'll help them. I'll hold him down while they fucking flay his testicles. But like the children that they fucking harm and shit, you know, it's like, I'll kill the world for them. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't like that shit. So, I don't even remember why. Oh, because Serafina. I hated the fact that these people put even an ounce of fear in her. To the point where, but my reaction was to almost like make her fear me in the moment. Like, and that wasn't the right reaction. I don't even know why I reacted that way. I was just in a certain zone. And instantly, Ashley brought me out of that and right into myself again and was like, bro, what are you doing? That's a program. Like, something in there just tweaked you. Like, you just got triggered. And I'm like, I did just get triggered. Like, you know, it's like, I love those kinds of relationships. I like real. Don't sugarcoat shit. Like, don't be afraid of me. Don't ever let me say something and just, like, fucking tell me. You know what I'm saying? Get at me. You know? So it was like, that was the kind of relationship that we had and whatnot. Who goes there? 'Tis you.
'Tis I. I'm not you. I'm I.
I'm not you. I'm I. 'Tis I who is not you, but is I.
It's the wrong vowel, bro.
Well, I just had to make sure it was you and not somebody that I had to kill, you know? Because you don't normally knock like that. I was like, that didn't sound like, I didn't hear the keys jingle, and it was
very
like
metallic.
Okay, because it was like I was like, that's not a.
I hit this.
Okay, that makes sense. That makes more sense. But yeah, long story short, that is that story. If you have any particular questions, I'm recording a video. We were going back and forth, but it's like her bedtime, and once the audio recordings go, they just start to jumble up. Like the AI fucks with my audio recordings. So I was like, I'm just gonna record this and just give it to you this way. But yeah, any questions or anything like that? Let me know, darling.
Peace. Oh,